Hey there, welcome to my first woodworking video. In this video I make an end table for my wife for her birthday. This is to honor the hundreds of hours we've watched woodworking videos together. Thank you, Molly, for all the encouragement in this hobby and supporting it. I hope you enjoy the journey along the way and you can see your birthday end table getting created. Alright, so this is going to be a one-shot voiceover. I'll walk you through what we're doing. Here we're able to use a circle cutting jig. I've got a spalted maple slab that I've had for 2 years now. Cutting a perfect circle. This was the first time using this jig. It was really precise and pretty cool. After cutting it through almost all the way, I took it over to the bandsaw, which is a recent gift from her. Was able to finish cutting it through, making sure to stay outside of the line. Here we take it over to the router using a flush cut trim bit. First time using this successfully, I would say. And there it's going to make it flush and perfect, so that extra tab we have hanging over is gone. Now this slab was pretty twisted, so I did have to take it to the router sled, and we flattened her up. Unfortunately, I would say the longest part is all this prep work, but we fly through it in the video. This is very messy, but I was very excited with the figuring I was seeing in the wood. I had to have it up on some stilts there, but you can see some of the coloration and beauty, and I'm very excited to see what this ends up looking like sanded. So we'll get there soon, I'm sure. Here I'm starting to prep the legs, so I've got some 8/4 maple that had some rough sawn still showing. So I take it to the planer, I'm planing it down just a hair to make sure that it is clean and clear. And we'll take it over to the table saw, rip these down to 2-inch wide legs. I hope I don't show you all of them getting cut. That would be a bit repetitive. Oh, look at that. This was cool. So this is a taper jig. I've never done a taper on legs before or anything. This took 5 minutes. I whipped it together. Just good old YouTube. So I took it over, measured where I needed it to be, took it to the table saw, and for the first time cut a tapered leg. And honestly, it turned out much better than I had hoped, or at least I thought it might for the first time. I got all 3 legs tapered down and ready to go. Here we'll see what that shape is going to look like, or at least roughly look like. Now there was a big crack in the slab surface that I wanted to close up, or at least hold together with a bow tie. So I had a black walnut piece, have a jig from Rockler that I used, and routed it down, took it to the bandsaw, trimmed it out, and then same thing, had to take the flush cut trim bit up. I actually ended up taking a chamfer and chamfering it after that, just so it slid into the slot a little easier. This was a little dicey with the old fingers, but it wasn't too bad. After that, took it over to the slab and cleared out where that bow tie was going to go. These jigs here are super handy. They work so well. Just takes a little while to zip zap zoop it all up, you know. So after that, this doesn't take long. How long? There we go. We've got our bow tie. We've got our bow tie hole. Gotta glue it all up. I was very excited to see the shape of it, the size of the end table top. I think that it'll end up working really well. Took some glue, dumped it all in there, spread it around a little bit. This project, I got to tie in a lot of different skills and things that I've done in the past that I haven't done all together, so this was fun. Some new stuff as well. So I make sure to get the bottom and the edges. Make sure she sits in there real well and isn't coming out. hammer, pound her down nice and snug. Clean her up a bit. Let it dry, and then we'll have to sand down that 1/8 or 3/16 inch hangover there. So here we get a shot of this in there. It is nice and tight, and I have lots of sanding coming. So here I'm putting a chamfer on the bottom. We've seen a lot of creators do a round over on the top and a chamfer on the bottom. This is the first time I wanted to try that. Unfortunately, I don't have the size chamfer that everybody uses, these massive 2-inch chamfers. But I had what I had, and I started going around it a little bit at a time, making a couple cuts until it was maxed out. Let's see, there you go. Get a little shot of that at the bottom. Then I take the top, and I wanted to do a round over on the top like I said, so same deal. I don't have a 1/2 inch round over bit yet, but I do have a 3/8, so I maxed that one out. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. See me squinting through all the sawdust. Should have had a mask on at this point. I know I'll get flack for that. Alright, here's our legs. We've got a round over again. I wanted to make sure to soften this up a bit. So we'll do all 4 sides. This was going to be interesting. I hadn't done it with that taper, and I wasn't sure exactly how that would affect it, but it wasn't too bad. So there's side number 3, and we'll get 4, and then I've got 2 other legs to do after that. I was really excited about these legs. I ended up cutting them at an angle, I think 5 degree, to have them with the taper and the angle come out the base, flared just a little bit. I was excited to see how they turned out, and I thought it would turn out really well. So here's one, you can see all rounded over. There's that angle that was cut onto number 2 and 3. Now for sanding. So I was going to have quite a bit of sanding. I debated taking the belt sander to that bow tie, but really didn't want to risk gouging the top at all. So I sanded, and then poof, she's flat. So you got to skip all of that. Lucky you guys. You can see how beautiful this piece of wood is. I was very excited. That bow tie came out great. Puts together that crack. It doesn't go all the way to the other end, so I only put 1 in there. Debated on putting 2, but I didn't want to take away from the beauty of the wood. Nice and soft. Off this side, so you can see all those router lines from when I used the router sled. Those take a while to get out, but it does come out. I was excited, as you can see. It does end up coming out after a little while. Using some 80 grit, then I went up to 120 and then 180. There's the chamfer, that's the bottom, and there's the top. Nice and soft. Now to sand the legs. So there were saw marks from when I cut it. Obviously, I had to hand sand it. So this took a little while, wasn't too bad. Just time consuming. I went through the same grit, making sure that they were smooth, no saw marks. The round overs held their shape. Then had a soft pad that I took just to smooth over those round overs. It's quite the pile of sawdust. And then I took that same soft pad, did the same for the round over and the chamfer, blew off some of this dust here. simple. Ooh, on to finish. So I use some, it's basically Rubio Monaco, but Natura Pure. Spread that around, and I was thrilled with the color and how this made the grain pop. You'll see as I spread it around and do the sides, it completely changes, and it was beautiful. This is obviously always the most exciting part. At the end, I did actually finish it with some homemade beeswax, turpentine, and boiled linseed as just a surface coat, but went through the finish process here. This is the bottom. Got the edges, let it sit for a minute, and then buffed it out. I think I do skip that part, but we'll see. Look at that spalting. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, now on to the top. I actually gauged this amount to mix very well. I was very excited. I did not waste any and didn't need to mix more. So that was perfect. Alright, done there. Oh, look at this shot. Beautiful. Alright, so my wife, she does love her whitewash of things, so I had some white, same hard wax mix, went through, took the legs. They were already, obviously maple is very white, but I did not want to have them yellow at all. So I went through, whitewashed. It didn't take it much, but it did highlight some of the grain a little bit, but it just kept the color really well, and I was very excited about that. So I did not have a little circle way to mark. I needed to create something to be able to mark an inner circle where I was going to hang the legs. So I took this little piece of scrap, drilled a hole, and made sure my pencil would fit through. And guess what? It works out great. Had to test it. Boom, piece of scrap. So I didn't record it, but screwed it in, took the pencil, made my circle. Measured off 3 equal points where I was going to hang the legs. I drilled. My goal was to use hanger bolts and threaded inserts. That, however, did not work out. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if it was the quality of the stuff I got or what, but the threaded inserts did not go in smooth. They did not accept the hanger bolts well, so I ended up having to tear those out, and I went the dowel route. So half inserted into the leg, half inserted into the table. We'll glue that up. Oh, what did I forget? Ah, my hammer, yes. I constantly had to walk off camera to get stuff and edited most of that out. So glue on the dowel, glue in the hole, and hammer that in, and then we'll do the same on the table. So one leg down, a little glue on the dowel, hammer that in, and the third. Take the tabletop, get some glue in those holes. I want to make sure this is stable. My hope is that this replaces an end table that we have that we like, but is very unstable and a bit fragile. and with our girls, the fear is that it will break. So hopefully this is sturdy enough to replace that. I didn't want to risk it being wobbly or uneven. So I've got that taper facing the center, that angle, having them flare out a little bit, hammer it in, and then I lined it up to the center so that they all faced equally. Here's the second. Nice and snug. And the third. This is a great shot, clearly. Well thought out. There it is. Clean up some of the glue, make sure there's not too much squeeze out. Obviously she's already finished, so I can't go in sanding or messing things up. And there she is. Very happy with how she turned out. It was a joy to make. The figuring is gorgeous. I think that walnut bow tie looks great on the top. Happy birthday, Molly. Love you very much. Enjoy.